And half the time, do you feel like going to therapy, once you get in the room, do you feel like that sometimes you're almost healing yourself just by talking out loud?
Totally. I mean, I think honestly that is what it is. Like,
right.
Your therapist isn't. They're just another person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they've been trained on some thought processes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not so much like, to me, what drove me to like want to do it, honestly, is kind of in some ways like, I don't know if ambition's the right word, but just like I see people in the world that are living like these incredible lives where they accomplish so much.
Yeah.
They are so happy and kind and confident, you know, to other people, and like are truly just like a light in the world.
Right.
And there's no, and in my head there was like, there's no reason why I shouldn't be, you know, that way as well. Right. So like, what is going on? Like, why do I keep getting hung up?
Yeah.
And like, why do I, and I started realizing like, I'm getting in my own way. I'm self-sabotaging here. Like, boom, self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And that comes from like a feeling of unworthiness at places.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like, you know, and when you start diving into like, you know, addictions, like, you know, just drinking and smoking and like other addictions, like a lot of that comes from, it's avoiding reality. And so like you start diving into these, and so it doesn't just, I feel like there's such like a stigma on like therapy of like, hey, this is like, of like everyone is, if you go to it, that means like you're broken and messed up.
No way.
And it's like, it's like yes and no. It's like everyone's broken and messed up. It's not like if you go to therapy, you're like a weirdo or like you're like this.
Well,
whoa, that
you know,
person
it's crazy.
needs therapy.
We go to the dentist.
Right.
We get a checkup yearly
100%.
on our body. Like, this is the most important thing, just as the vessel we live in.
Totally.
You know, it's like, this is powering the vessel. How come this never gets a checkup? You know?
Right.
And that's the thing that controls us every single day.
Yeah,
You know?
and
just as much as we eat with our teeth, and just as much as we run and live and sleep and you know.
And I feel like your brain just gets bogged down with so much in like every single day you have like a blast of a million different emotions and stimuli, and especially like with what we're doing all the time, you're constantly like, it's like pretty high. I mean, like maybe in that it's kind of just like the world in general now today, but most jobs are just pretty high stress and high impact, and everything just kind of relates back to the way you handle and treat every situation. You end up treating every single person, comes back to the way you were treated and the things you go through as a kid in a way.
Yeah.
A lot of it. And then some of it, I mean, so a lot of it roots from that. But then also, you know, you might just be being a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You know, you might be just choosing to be making bad decisions too. And it's like, and when you start talking about that, it's like, oh, like it's just such a great sounding board to get to like really dive deeper on who you want to be and help manifest like the person that you want to be.
Like the window to the soul, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, it really helps you kind of like stand outside and look in and go like, oh, I'm doing this to myself. Like, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I feel like I need to do this?
Gosh. So I've been like, so I've never gone to therapy, but I don't even know that. I guess this is in a sense it's got to be some type of therapy, but with a lot of things in my life and my areas in life. So this is like work or my own brain or whatever it was. I started like doing retrospective thinking. So I just started starting where I'm at or where I want to be, whatever that is, and then we're tracing back. So like, for example, if I had a consistent negative emotion towards a situation or a type of person, I'd be like, okay, this is pretty regularly occurring. And in this cat's just rubbing on my foot right now.
Nice, I love it.
It's great. On his little toes too.
Yeah. So this this behavior is regularly occurring in my life, and these people in all these situations are different, and I'm the common denominator here.
Totally.
So why am I feeling this way in these situations? So then I would because I was like, I don't want to feel this way. Like,
Right, yeah.
I don't enjoy having those emotions in any aspect of this life. So then whether that, and like that could have tied in with the way a show is run, or the relationship with my mom, or anything like that in my life. And then I would just trace it back until like I found a place that I thought was like the root of that. And then I would try to become at peace. But I'd be like, okay, that is totally what this is about.
Dude,
and then,
that's amazing.
I know.
That's like the fact that you just like started doing that on your own. Like, yeah, that's fucking
is that what that
giver. Like that's
Yeah. Well, that's like
sounds amazing.
it's such a great way to, in a healthy way, that you found that on your own.
well it's
You know,
yeah.
I'd never had that kind of open conversation with myself. Like, even when I thought things didn't bother me, they were, and they were, you know, I just didn't realize. But some people can have that conversation with themselves and figure out how you can get to that point where you figure out what is
right.
what's bothering you or what's going on in your life, right?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the times, like, because the hardest part is
It's a hard thing to stop to remember to do.
Yeah, and like the thing that I find is like the hardest part is just like truly being like I guess truly being honest with yourself and
right there.
and right and like being
Yeah.
like, okay, is this the like I think most of the times, a lot of the times, those behaviors and the things I was referencing earlier in people would be things that I even would be displeased about within myself.
Totally.
And then I'd be like reflecting those on things, and I would be as equally frustrated about that situation as I would be if they would do the same, had treated me the same way, you know, and like, or types of things like that too. So then when you like, then you're like, then I had this like inception moment in my brain where I'm like, shut up. I'm like, wait. I'm like, most of these regular, like, I'm always feeling these things towards people, and 9 times out of 10, it's usually something about me. So then I'm like,
Totally.
oh, I'm gonna start just like working on me.
Right.
And then it's been like revolutionary. But then it's been like, it's probably been, I would give it 18 months where I've been really devotedly focusing on this. But I didn't really
it's amazing.
go to like therapy or anything.
Yeah, and you don't have to.
But I
Like,
think
you don't-
I want to though, because now like I haven't really talked to anybody about a lot of this stuff either. It's more just been like me sitting like just staring, kind of like, oh gosh, or like in a quiet space or driving or traveling, because I've been traveling a lot in the over the past year, and I have like 8 hours in a plane with no service or anything like
Right.
that. So then that's kind of where a lot of my thinking went up, kind of coming into place.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think I'm gonna go to therapy,
Yeah.
and then we're all gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
We can give you some recs.
Actually,
Yeah.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
There's and actually for other artists and stuff, there is in Nashville. I can't remember the name of it right now, but there is a place that that offers therapy like to artists, meeting at like on a sliding scale. So depending on what your income is,
Yeah.
because that is one of the huge barriers with
That was what
therapy is it's
that's
just
what
like
my therapist did.
really
I had a
expensive.
sliding scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting.
So yeah, you can find that as well, because that's definitely, I think, a lot of people's. But I will say this is, people say it like, "Oh, I can't afford it." Sometimes that's true. I think it's like, "Oh yeah, you can't afford it, but you can afford to
Do all these
drop
other things.
$50 on
Yeah.
drinks." Like,
Every
you know what I'm
night,
saying? So
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's also the first. Like, it's the easy first line of defense of like, I don't really want to actually
Yeah.
do that because it's fucking seems scary and weird.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not scary and weird. You get like, dude, I promise you, you'll go and you'll be like, maybe not.
It just
It
makes you feel
depends.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
right.
like you get to start exposing the shit that needs to not be in there.
Purge. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, part of the reason why I even like thought about even getting together and doing this, because like I never really get. I mean, I guess I sometimes do, but I don't get like a ton of straight up downtime with like other people with like type of situations for lives, and just relating and talking about
Like good
shit we go
good
through
conversations.
and having
That's
it.
so
yeah.
true. I feel I'm starving for community.